that the swearing in of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as President and Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and the launch of the People's Assembly scheduled for Tuesday, 12th December, have been postponed to a later date.
And the much-hyped swearing-in of NASA leader Raila Odinga and his deputy Kalonzo Musyoka as the People's President and Deputy President is off. It was scheduled to be on the 12th of December, same day as Jamhuri Day. NASA leaders say the decision was arrived at after consultation. And even as that ceremony is called off, President Uhuru Kenyatta has ruled out the possibility of holding dialogue with the opposition on electoral reforms. Uhuru says he is only ready to participate in a dialogue on developmental matters, and if NASA want to negotiate, then they should wait for the next campaign season when they would then negotiate with Deputy President William Ruto. NASA leader Raila Odinga is also not ready to negotiate when it comes to police brutality and the loss of life. He criticized Western diplomats, saying, quote, "We thought we had friends, but we were wrong. Now we know they're enemies." Up to today, no single ambassador has condemned the killing of people by police. End of quote. This came in the wake of reports that the United States had been piling pressure on the opposition leader to abandon his planned swearing in, saying it is unconstitutional.
Shout at us and tell us that we are going to violate constitution. Which constitution we put?
It has generated quite a storm, with Attorney General Githu Muigai warning that should the event take place, the opposition leader will face charges of treason, which carry a mandatory death penalty. Senator James Orengo dismissed Attorney General Githu Muigai's warning, claiming that treason is not an easy offense to prove. NRM member Oduor Ongwen says all this is not for fun.
People don't become radicals because it's romantic. They act because the prevailing circumstances requires those kinds of actions.
The Secretary General, Francis Atwoli, has also weighed in all this, asking NASA leader Raila Odinga to come up with a different strategy to push for electoral reforms and justice to safeguard peaceful coexistence. Atwoli says the swearing-in of Raila could escalate political tension and lead to confrontations between opposition supporters and security agencies. And as we know now, that swearing-in ceremony has been postponed. Very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. This is Crossfire. I'm Linda Ogutu in studio. We have to my immediate right Odoyo Owidi, who's a political analyst, and right next to him we have Ambrose Weda, who's a lawyer and a political analyst as well. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Crossfire. Owidi, the swearing in of NASA leader Raila Odinga is off. We've just gotten that report a couple of minutes ago, actually an hour or so. What happened?
It is not off.
Postponed.
It is postponed,
okay.
Yes. And, you know, we respect the public. We don't want to delay them. Even if it was going to delay by just a few hours, we postpone it and put it on a better day, a better date, at a better time, with a better audience. That is what we have just done. You have always noticed all the time, you, the media, go and wait for the president and the deputy to come even and read the cabinet, and you wait 6 hours. Nothing is ever in time.
Okay.
Even them who have 50,000 employees in Kenya who are ready to make their day work, they are still late. Okay. So if in our own interest we found that it was not possible to have a smooth sailing swearing in the way we had planned, we regroup, rearrange it, replan it, and re-strategize, and then inform the public. We will inform the public very soon. It's not going to take long before we inform you on the D-Day, but it is going to come.
Define smooth swearing in. What gave you the impression that it wasn't going to be smooth?
That it was going to be smooth. That
it was not going to be smooth.
That one is our own secret. How can I say that here? See, you know, they can go and throw, you know, those things they throw in the field where we do things. Okay. They can do very many bad things. You know, people like where they plan and they don't plan anything good. They plan evil. And they don't remember that we are fellow Kenyans who are just denied our own victory. But they still plan evil with us. They will be repaid one day.
Which victory were you denied? We did.
We won the election.
When?
NASA won the election on 8th of August. We won fair and square.
Okay.
Yes. But you see, because, you know, when there are people who are used to getting things through the back door, they will always want to circumvent the law, circumvent the rules, and circumvent the practice of a free and fair election. They did it, but we are not going to let you have it this time round.
Okay, Weda, so the swearing-in ceremony has been postponed. He says they're waiting, they want a smooth process, they want a better time, a better audience.
There was not going to be a swearing-in ceremony. What they were arranging was some suckers.
Okay.
Some opera game suckers, which they call swearing in. Swearing in basically must swear into something.
People's president?
There's nothing like that. There's a phantom position created by some dancers who now found themselves boycotting elections, and therefore they have no results to cling to, and they have nowhere they're moving forward. So what do? They cause circumlocutions to confuse the people of Kenya so that we don't get back to work. I think President Uhuru has a lot on his table to deal with. I, as Weda, I am waiting for President Uhuru and Deputy President William Ruto to take railway, the SGR, from Nairobi to Kisumu and to Busia. That's a big deal. That's the best I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the road from Sondu to Nyakachi Girls, and I say, you've done your job. So when other people are still arranging some suckers, they danced all their ways. Then they finish that, now they're saying swearing this, swearing that. These are people that when they tell you something, you don't believe. Why would you believe? They said they had their tallying center in the clouds. It turned out that was a joke.
But whether it's not specifically off, it's just been postponed.
Because there was going to be nothing. That's how you manage public attention, public expectation. Originally, Jacob Baba Mwenyewe said there would be no swearing in. Then he realized his support base were very angry. So what do? People live on hope. They consume hope. They eat hope. So you give them hope. I say on 12th, there will be swearing. And I dare say, Honorable Raila Odinga, Prime Minister, Right Honorable Chairman, whoever, did not say he will be sworn in. What he said at Jacaranda, alisema tutaapisha. That's the... Please, you will replay. He said tutaapisha. He didn't say he will be sworn in. He said tutaapisha. But before maybe Honorable Musalia Mudavadi could add some words, then he was met with some greetings that he could not speak. So we are saying that I am pleading with our colleagues, our big brothers, some of our parents in the journey to Canaan. We are tired, we need to get to work. The president, please get to work. The deputy president, get to work. Honorable Raila Odinga, if you are now preparing Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka or Honorable Musalia Mudavadi for 2022, please get ready. But these other kind of games, this one will not take anybody. And I want to tell the Luo Nation that these games are wasting our time.
Why specifically the Luo Nation?
Because we stood to gain. That's where we didn't do elections just because of Baba.
It wasn't just...
The three counties did not do elections because we said, Baba said we don't.
Wait,
and we didn't.
Can we be factual? It wasn't just Nyanza, was it?
I didn't say Nyanza. I said three counties.
Okay.
Homa Bay, Kisumu, Migori, and Siaya. Four. We didn't, and we said no IBC, nothing. Because we believed that if elections are not done in 290 constituencies, it will be nullified. Then it turned out, when I was here and I was telling them, gentlemen and ladies, it is only nullified if the IBC fails. But if you prevent IBC, if you prevent them from doing it, then you cannot benefit from your illegal action. So it is again us who are more hopeful than our counterpart, because our counterparts, they voted. So we are saying this kind of drama that is being organized, it is basically to manage our emotions, massage our hopes, but there is nothing in it.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I was listening into Musalia Mudavadi today, and he said, quote, our resolve has not changed, and he actually made reference to national dialogue, which he said must have electoral justice. Owide, this is not it, is it?
You know, I have listened to Ambrose talking, I just saw a man who is angling for the appointments which are supposed to have come by the time the swearing-in was completing. This idea that we are still fighting for our stolen bread is the one making him talk like that. It is delaying his wish that he would be in the next government very soon. I want to tell you,
thank you for your prayers.
You are not about to sit down to eat our stolen cake. You are not going to see it. So get ready for the long ride. Get ready that we are going to be sworn in. Get ready that we are going to have another election. Kenya is not going to go this way in a country where the people vote and somebody steal their votes.
You know, it's interesting that you say we are not going to move forward until we have another election.
Yes.
I want us to listen into what President Uhuru Kenyatta had to say. He was speaking during the burial of Susan Wairimu, that is the mother of Murang'a Women Representative Sabina Chege in Kigumo. Could you listen into that?
Lakini hii ya kuongea masiasa, hii igojee 2022, mtaongea na William, mimi nitakuwa naenda nyumbani.
Sasa tuongei na Uhuru kugawanya serikali. Tunaongea na Uhuru kwa mambo matano kama atakubali. Jambo la kwanza na lililo mstari wa mbele ni kufanyike uchaguzi mpya katika Kenya, kwa sababu wa Kenya walio wengi hawamtambui Uhuru Kenyatta kama rais wa Kenya.
Basi wa Kenya wamtambui Uhuru Kenyatta kama rais wa Kenya, and the only conversation we're going to have is on a new election. On the other hand, Uhuru Kenyatta says, I'm done.
Uhuru Kenyatta got it wrong. I am not in the habit of opposing leaders here and there. But when you talk things like, Angoje 2022, they dialogue with William Ruto. You are going to dialogue with another candidate about an election. Even when you are demanding dialogue before this election, William Ruto was in power. He was in power together with Uhuru Kenyatta, I think 50-50. So you are telling us, as at the head of this state, you do not want to preside over any reforms. You want some candidates to go and argue it at the last minute again in 2022. I think he's running away from his responsibility. In fact, I remember...
And his responsibility would be?
His responsibility will be guiding this nation if he was really sworn in. That is why I doubt. In fact, when he was being sworn in, I listened to something that shocked me. He skipped the word preserve the Constitution. If you will replay that one day, you will see.
Okay.
So I don't think it was intentional that he wanted to preserve and use and uphold this Constitution. You cannot, as a president, run away from a dialogue for posterity. Raila Odinga is not fighting to have electoral justice so that he gets elected in 2022. He demands an electoral justice so that in the future, Kenyans elect a leader of their choice, not one that is manufactured inside some servers. You remember, Linda, the first Supreme Court sitting ordered IEBC to allow access to the servers. Today, as we sit here, that has not happened, and we are moving on.
Okay.
You see?
So this clamor for electoral reform has nothing to do with Raila wanting to be
It has nothing. Raila has always fought for the people, not for himself.
Okay.
He is actually fighting for the people of Kenya to, in the future, have an election in which they will elect leaders of their choice. In fact, leaders we have in Kenya today were selected by the leaders who are currently purporting to have been elected. Okay. They chose. They said, in Nyamira we want so-and-so, in Nairobi we want so-and-so, in Murang'a we want so-and-so, until they got the people they want. And they said, we want this number of MPs, we want this number of senators. We don't care very much about MCS. They don't count much. Okay. So what we have today is a fight so that in the future, Kenyans will be able to go through a free and fair election. It's not about sharing anything. We are not interested anymore.
Whether we don't want to share, and this has nothing to do with Raila, we just want a better future for Kenya. That is what we decide.
I think let's get this thing very clear.
Okay.
The server they are talking about, the election they are talking about, the stolen election they are talking about, that was nullified by the Supreme Court. Then the Chief Justice gave them a promise and said, go back for elections within 60 days. And if any mistake, the server, whatever happens,
if you bring back a case like
I will nullify.
I will nullify, yes.
But I don't know what the other dancers went to do. They went and smoked whatever on their way to Canada. And they say, now, we don't trust Honorable Mbaraga, we don't trust the Supreme Court. We are not going back for those elections. The truth is this. They knew they were defeated. And Kenyans having shifted and many people defected to Jubilee, they knew now the defeat would be bigger. So the only remedy was less boycott.
No.
Then after boycotting, then they say our victory was too late. Which one? Did they expect in the absence of Raila Odinga on the ballot that my good friend and colleague, Uhuru Akot, would defeat Uhuru or Dida? Even if Uhuru got 1,000 votes, if that was the highest, he would be
That was
there.
it.
Baba himself left. Secondly, the president himself cannot declare a vacancy in the office of the president. Neither can he sit to say, I want elections. The only organ that can say there should be elections again is the Supreme Court. I'm telling our people, please listen, the Supreme Court. In the absence of the Supreme Court, the other limb is through a referendum. There must be a referendum to amend things to allow this. All these are not possible in the next 3 or 4 years. We want to implement new free day secondary school in January.
And then
We
HIF.
want to deal with questions of medical treatment. Again, for the president to sit to be talking to people about elections, we will tell him nobody elected you to go and do elections.
But Weda, the
Yes.
president is the symbol of unity in this country. Clearly, from the time the election was carried out in August and now the repeat elections, you have a polarized country. As the president and the unifying factor in this country, shouldn't he reach out? Do you think he should reach out? Do you think there should be dialogue?
Now, number one, I don't see this overhyped, polarized country.
You don't think this country is
We are
polarized?
laughing here with the way they are jumping and saying, and then before the review are saying, polarized. It is only that some people who did not win, even at MCA level, there are people who didn't win, they are better. Okay, there are people who won, they are happy. Again, that will heal
Linda,
with
I don't
time.
want to
Just
hear
allow
this
me to
win
finish.
thing.
Just allow me to finish. The president will heal and is healing the country. How do you heal the country? By forming a broad-based government, by bringing other people who feel left out into government. It does not mean that if Honorable Raila Odinga and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka and Honorable Musalia Mudavadi and Wetangula, if the four are out of government, then the country is polarized,
So,
not broad-based.
so
He will bring people.
Wait, so from where you sit, this country is not polarized?
No, from elections, there's nothing to hype. It is just that there are people who are hurting, which is normal. I've lost elections, and I've felt hurt, but along the way I heal. They will heal. But for now, we request the people who left the country for Canada to allow the president, now that they came back mid-stream, to allow the president to try healing the country by forming a broad-based government and getting to work. What we want is to see free day secondary school in January for all Kenyans. We don't want about elections. How long will we talk about elections?
So from where you sit, this country is not polarized. 2, dialogue is not going to get us anywhere. Let's move on as a country.
The president has no jurisdiction or mandate to sit in State House and start setting agenda. I want to talk to Wetangula. I want to talk to so-and-so.
So you think
his duty now is to form government and get to the agenda
so
and get moving.
he shouldn't even reach out?
In the next 3 months, I want to meet him and say, President, where is our railway? SGR to Kisumu. There's a road from Sondu to Nyakachgas. Where is it? We'll not be saying, did you meet Honorable? Have you done tea together? They are friends. They always take tea. They are friends. We can't know that.
Oh, we did a minute. I need to take a break.
I think, Ambrose, you are getting everything completely wrong. First of all, simple things like implementing policies and issues, I don't think the president should bend down there. We have ministers whose jobs are to do those things you are counting about, roads, SG, those things, there are people to do it. The president's job, the serious job of any president, may ensure that the constitution is followed, ensure that Kenyans are united. Those are the things only the president can do. As we sit here today, if the president believed he won, he would have made things transparent. But the moment they took IEBC and the judiciary under siege. They colonized them. They formed a tag team with them. It was not going to be possible for us to accept any election result. So when you say some people are hurt, we are not hurting because we lost the election. We are hurting because the rights of Kenyans was stolen. It was usurped by just two people who decided that they must not only rule Kenya, but lord over it. Lording over it because they do not even want to talk about politics anymore. And that is where we are today. That is why we have 54 Kenyans killed within a span of 3 months. And nobody talks about it, not in here, not out there, not even in any investigations.
And that...
Just allow me to say something. These people are hurting. I repeat, they are hurting. Because some people misled Right Honorable Raila Odinga to boycott elections. So he has no results to cling to claim I won. He boycotted. He is out. That was a big blunder, big mistake. And those who advised him to do that, I blame you people.
No, that election had nobody to run it. IEBC had been taken over by Jubilee. Who was going to run this election? Nobody.
Listen, you're watching Crossfire. Thank you for staying with us. We need to take a break. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about what Cavins is talking about, Odoyo is talking about the number of people who were killed in the protests and why NASA leader Raila Odinga is upset about the reaction of international partners. Let's take that break now.